What's going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of Tales with me, S.A. Gandhish. And in today's podcast, we have Sagnik with us, who's an IIT graduate. So, Sagnik, welcome to the show again.
Hello, it's nice to be here.
Yeah, I mean, in the previous episode, interaction with Sagnik, we spoke about his IIT journey, how he cracked the JEE Advanced examination and went to top universities in the country, in fact, in the world as well. So, in this podcast, we're going to talk about the other part of IIT, life in IIT and beyond. So, without further ado, let's start. So, Sagnik, before we go into the IIT perspective, like a lot of students who just completed the 12th entrance examination, they have this biggest confusion in their mind. Whether should I go by the college or should I go by the department like CAC, Triple E, or EC? What according to you is the best way to look at this problem? And what do you say? Should we go by college name or by the department or the which is most demanding department?
That again depends on what your interests are. There's no one right answer to that. You can basically the thing is you can like if you choose to go to an IIT and you go say to a not so sought after department, then you won't get the same opportunities as say CS people get in terms of software companies and stuff like that. But you'd get everything else in the sense you'd get all the facilities, all the other opportunities, and yeah, basically everything other than software. But
don't you
yeah, so that
don't you think the growth of computer science in this generation, in this kind of era, do you think it's more safer to say if we take a computer science department, it'd be much more like you have better future ahead? Do you have some kind of notion about that?
It depends. I mean, there are good non-software companies too. Like there are actually many good non-software companies too. But then there are also like the thing is the number of software companies is equal to the number of non-software companies. So that increases the competition for the rest because there are more departments.
Alright.
So in that sense, you could say it is. I mean, as I said, there's no one right answer. If you're more interested in, like, if you're genuinely interested in software, then like it makes sense to go to that department.
Alright.
But in any college, but if you're not particularly interested, then you have to make a choice.
Alright. So moving on to the next one, like, do you think your preparation for your IIT and your JEE Advanced preparation helped you adding some kind of values in your life? Like maybe it made you more focused, maybe it made you more sharper, made you more disciplined. Like, what do you reflect upon each?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, to some extent, yeah. I mean, it did make me better. Like, it did improve my analytic skills. You know, looking at problems, trying to solve them. Like, it improved my problem-solving skills. And before, like the thing is, once you solve so many problems, it gives you a certain level of confidence. You don't get scared of looking at problems anymore. And you basically, that is it, I guess. It makes you better at problem solving. It improves your analytic skills and it gives you a certain level of confidence.
What about the values? Like, did it make you more disciplined, or maybe make it more started managing things better in that way, more than the technical?
To some extent, yeah. I would think so, yeah. But I think that would happen even if you go to even if you don't go through that. Okay, and that's my personal opinion. Like, because if once you are in college, you have to start working. So
true. Okay, so let us get the main part of this podcast. The day when your results went down, Sagnik, you're going to IIT Madras. What was your expectations, and how was the day for you? And what are your expectations of IIT before having a picture of what IIT is? So what are your expectations of IIT Madras?
So truth be told, I didn't have too many expectations in the sense like other people. Like most people go to an IIT with the hope of a huge package and stuff like that. I didn't have any of those expectations. The thing is, my JEE rank wasn't extraordinary, so I got chemical engineering initially, and my main focus was to get a branch change to something better, something I was actually interested in.
All right.
And because of that, my main focus was to do well in first semester and get a high CGPA in the first semester.
All right.
So I wasn't really worried about anything else. But yeah, I did have expectations of like a good college life, and I'd always heard that the campus life is really nice, and you
Right.
have a lot of freedom, and you can just roam around, and it kind of lived up to that. But
All right.
again, because of COVID, even that got ruined.
That's the case for every engineering colleges in the world. So yeah,
Yeah.
but so how when the entire enrollment process was over, your first day in IIT, how was it? Like, was it your you say you didn't have any expectations, but you had certain expectations. So how did it match up to your expectation? Or
Yeah.
were you more elated, think okay, there's actually more than what I expected, or what was the first day in IIT?
It was actually better than I expected. I mean, many people said that the facilities, like the hostels and all that, and the mess food is not very good.
All right,
And I thought I would get disappointed, but it wasn't actually that bad. And apart from that, you get used to that. And apart from that, campus life, that my first year on college was like the best year.
all
Best
right,
year I had a lot of freedom. I could roam around and do whatever I want. So in
all
that
right.
sense, it did live up to it.
So
Yeah, but yeah, it was great.
Speaking about campus life, like because they say IIT environments are pretty good. Like really, even though it's highly competitive, it's more pleasant and more encouraging and more supportive. So, how was your culture? How was life in IIT? And how was it like till the COVID started, the lockdown started? How was it in IITs?
Like the thing is, in my first year, like in your first year, you don't have any real competition or stress or anything about academics or anything for that matter. So first year, it only came with the good stuff of campus life. You could just roam around, have a lot of freedom, roam around in the middle of the night, go out of campus, hang
Right,
around with your friends, eat. Yeah, so like in that sense, it was like my first year was amazing because I could do all of that and not worry about anything related to academics.
all right. I mean, that's the liberty for any
But like
first year
after that,
student.
it always, yeah, that's what. And like, but the thing is, after your first year, you need to get more serious. So uh, yeah, so there are two sides of it.
Right. Like, why do you think IIT is like so popular around the world? So, is it because of the students, the culture, or is the professors, or what makes IIT so special? In your opinion?
Uh, the thing is, at least like initially, like say around 4 decades ago, or even before that, IITs were the only good engineering colleges in India. So, but that's where all the hype started. And the thing is, right now there are many good colleges in India at par with IITs. But the thing is that hype is still continued even till today. So
Alright,
I think that is the reason. I mean, it does have like there are many facilities and there are many good professors too. But at right now, if you see, there are many other colleges in India at par with IITs.
alright. Like, is there any kind of pressure, like, because you're in a highly competitive environment, right? Is there any pressure because the people around you are like people who get into IITs are really smart.
Yeah,
They have worked really hard. So probably even you'll be smarter, but there'll be people who are smarter than you in this. And for you, understanding a particular concept is
yeah.
just time. And for a particular person, it just takes a one bit. If you just listen to class, gets it. So is there any kind of inferiority complex in terms of that? Like you feel that kind of okay, I'm a dumb person. I'm not able to look at my friends or classmates. They're able to grab a lot of concepts. Is there any kind of inferiority complex for that?
That is actually a good question. Like initially it was there a lot. Even later on it does happen.
Or,
But the thing, like later on you start realizing that it was just one exam, and just because of that one exam doesn't make you smarter or dumber than the other person.
or,
So like after a while you become friends with the same people and hang out with the same people. So after like maybe after like 1 or 2 semesters that dies down. But yeah, in the first semester it does happen a lot.
like again, speaking about this, you said you had a preparation for like 2 years for this IIT preparations. So you had to sacrifice a lot. You had to do a lot of work, hard work, sleepless nights, and all. So do you think now in your third year of engineering, if you reflect upon your journey, do you think it's all the worth it? Like in terms of the quality of what IIT provides. Like they will talk about placements completely. Is the environment, the facilities, is it totally worth it?
Yeah. The thing is, it is worth it. It is worth it in some sense, but it is also like I would say it is worth it if you do well in the exams. But it is not worth it to feel regret not working hard for it either if you don't do well in the
Alright.
exams. So I mean, like there are many other good colleges too, which give you a similar experience now. So in like, but the thing is, if you do well in it and if you come to an IT, it's definitely worth it because of all the facilities, all the interactions you have with people. So yeah, I would say it is worth it.
Oh, brings me a second, an important question. How is the student culture? I mean, in terms of club, in terms of interaction with your seniors, how well is that? Like, is it easily you can communicate with seniors, talk to them, and how well the club functions? Because the way the college performs, the way the college performs, the way the students gain knowledge is during interaction experiences, and the way the club works. So, how do you think IIT is? What's the stake of IIT in this field in terms of clubs?
Uh, I would say it's pretty good. Like I was quite impressed when I first came to my college. So it was the thing is, if you have an idea and you really want to try it out, you will have people you can discuss it with and make it work.
All right,
You can talk to seniors, ask them for guidance, and they'll be happy to help you out, and even professors. So if you really want to do something, you can.
all right.
And
So it's
even the
a very
clubs,
open environment.
for that matter, you can go to any of the clubs. Yeah, if you have an idea which is related to that club, you can try it out without any hesitation, and they'll provide you with uh, uh, all the stuff that you require to achieve it. And you can also be part of the club if you're really interested in that particular club.
Like, how can a student entering into IIT can make the best use of IIT, what the facilities they offer, the experience they offer? How can they make the best use of it? Probably so that they can end up in a better colleges for higher studies or better jobs in there or in the next 4 years if they can join it. So,
I would say you should the main thing that makes IIT so special is that there are other people. You can always find like-minded people.
uh,
So don't try doing everything on your own. Go out, meet people, and yeah, basically interact with people and discuss with them.
right,
And instead of trying to do everything on your own, if you try to do everything on your own, what's the point? You can do it at home also.
right.
So try interacting with as many people as you can.
So I mean, you've seen a lot of movies and a lot of other YouTubers who are part of IIT. They say like they have a lot of expectation in the way the professors present their lectures, the way they teach, and they at one point of time they understand the reality that it's only one day before exam. If you study, you might even get good scores as well. Is that actually true in IITs? The way the teaching is not, it was not as the level you want it to be because you cracked one of India's top, the toughest examinations that you're writing. You're in best college. So, you think the way the professors teach makes you kind of do some decisions?
It is true to some extent in the sense that some courses are like that, but there are also some good courses. So you need to do that. You need to select courses accordingly, and that becomes very important after a while. So some professors are extremely passionate about what they teach, and they teach their courses are actually worth attending and listening to. But there are again some courses which aren't that great. But it also depends on the student. Like there are courses which you can get a lot out of if you put in the required effort.
Right.
But like there are like for example, there are courses where you can study on the day before the exam and get good grades. But again, that's up to you. Like just because you can do that doesn't mean you do that, right? So like you can get more out of that course if you want to without just studying on the day before the exam.
All right. So, like, you've been in IIT for the past 3 years, so you know what kind of way IIT runs and where IIT administers. So, what is the one thing you feel that IIT can do better so that the entire environment is more welcoming, it's more more competitive, and it makes you more comfortable working in? What's the one thing you always feel like IIT can improve on?
I think okay. I think I have two answers to that. One is from a student's perspective. I think the other students can be like right now. Many of the students are too focused on placements and internships and stuff like that, and instead of like the actual learning experience. So like, and that comes from like the Indian school mindset where
Yes.
parents force you to worry only about that. So I think that one thing is with that, like there are people who are like like people who are genuinely interested in the
Right.
topic, and you need to interact with them more. But yeah, that is one thing that can change. And the other thing is that there's like especially in IITs, there is not as much emphasis on research as say in IISc.
All
Like
right.
IISc isn't like great for placements or anything. It's not
Okay.
supposed to be. It's a research institute,
Right.
but it has a really good research setup. So I think IITs can learn something from that.
All right. Last question. So, do you think even IITs are still hyped up today? Do you think it's all is real, or is it just an over? It's just a cloud cover?
I think the hype is sort of dying down. I don't know, like I don't know if that is rightly so, but like the fact is that there are many other colleges which have come up which are at par with IITs. So you would understand why the hype of IITs would die down. But I still think IITs are at least one of the best in India. And it's if you can get through that exam, it is definitely worth going.
Right. So, thank you so much for your time, Sagnik. It's nice to talk as always.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being here.